Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to really get into this whole idea of trauma.
Yeah.
Like, not just defining it, but how it gets, like, stuck inside us.
Right, how it lives in the body.
Yeah, and how we can actually heal from it.
Because it can feel so mysterious, right?
Totally. And overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's our mission for this deep dive.
I love.
To help guide us, we're using Waking the Tiger
Oh, great book.
by Peter A. Levine.
Yeah, Levine's work is so powerful.
It is. And one thing that just grabbed me right away was this fact about animals.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know how they rarely kill their own species?
Yeah, it's
It
remarkable.
made me think, like
they have this built-in
why are humans so different?
inhibitor. Yeah.
Could trauma be part of that whole puzzle?
That's such a good question. And it kind of gets to this point that Levine keeps making.
Yeah.
Which is that trauma isn't just, a mental thing.
Right.
It's in our bodies.
So it's not just thoughts and feelings. It's like,
It's
well,
physiological.
our nervous system freaking out.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to get it.
To understand this, it might be helpful to think about your brain like a house,
Okay.
okay? With different rooms, so the oldest room, kind of like the basement,
Yeah.
that's where our survival instincts live.
Okay.
That's the reptilian brain, the part we share with animals.
Got it.
When we sense danger, that's the part that kind of takes over.
So that's where, like, fight or flight comes from.
Exactly.
Like that rush of adrenaline.
Yes, and there's another response
Oh,
that's super important for understanding trauma.
okay.
It's called the freeze response.
Freeze. So not fight or flight.
Right, so Levine uses this really vivid example
Okay.
of an impala being chased by a cheetah.
Oh, man.
So picture this. Impala's running, full speed, adrenaline's pumping.
Heart's racing.
But then it trips and gets caught.
Oh, no.
In that moment, the impala doesn't just give up mentally.
Right.
Its body goes into the state of shutdown.
Wow.
It's called freezing. It looks like death. But inside, there's a whole storm of energy trapped.
So it's like the body's ready to fight or run,
Right.
but it can't do either. So all that energy gets stuck.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is you see animals naturally discharge this energy.
Oh, like how?
Well, think of a dog shaking after a close call,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right? We humans, we don't often do that.
We just hold on to it.
We do, and that's where the problems start.
Okay.
That trapped energy can turn into what we know as PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Exactly.
So it's not just about the event itself,
No,
but how our bodies actually deal with it.
that's the key.
I see. And, we often think of trauma as these huge life-changing events.
Right, the big ones.
But Levine says even small things
Yeah,
can be traumatic,
absolutely. It all depends
depending on how our system
on how our nervous system
reacts. Wow.
perceives it.
Okay, so I always pictured like war zones or, natural disasters.
Like the classic example.
But you're saying like even childhood medical procedures.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially
Traumatic too.
for young children.
Yeah.
Who don't have the words to understand what's happening.
Right, they're just kind of going through it.
Yeah, Levine gives this example of a 4-year-old boy having a tonsillectomy.
Okay, pretty common surgery.
Right, on the surface, everything went fine.
Mm-hmm.
But years later, he started having panic attacks, anxiety.
That's so sad, but it makes sense if his body like held on to that.
Exactly, the body remembers.
Even if his mind didn't.
Even when the conscious mind doesn't.
Wow.
And that trapped energy can show up in all sorts of ways.
Yeah, like what?
Physical symptoms, emotional struggles, relationship patterns.
It really is a whole body experience.
It is.
So how do we even start to tap into that trapped energy and begin to heal?
Good question.
The book talks about the felt sense,
Yeah,
but even Levine admits is hard to explain.
it's a tricky one. It really is.
Okay, so try.
Well, imagine you've got that knot in your stomach when you're anxious.
Mm-hmm. I know that feeling.
That's your felt sense talking.
Okay.
It's not just a feeling, it's a physical sensation with a message.
Like a signal.
Exactly. It's a deeper knowing. That comes from tuning into our internal experience.
So it's like learning to listen to those subtle signals our body sends
Exactly.
instead of ignoring them.
That's it.
Levine compares the felt sense to a stream.
He does, yeah.
It's always changing, responding to everything around it.
It's dynamic.
So learning to pay attention to this stream without judging it.
Without judgment, yeah.
That's key to unraveling the trauma.
That's the key.
It sounds like it takes like slowing down,
It does.
being present with ourselves, which can be hard
So hard in our world.
in our fast-paced world.
Yeah.
You're right, that constant busyness
Yeah.
can actually contribute to trauma
Oh, wow.
in the first place.
Okay, so we're making it worse
We can be.
by being so go.
Yeah. Healing requires the opposite.
Okay.
It requires cultivating a gentle awareness.
Really listening to what our bodies are trying to tell us.
I'm already feeling like I need to take a deep breath.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. One thing that surprised me was Levine's stance on reliving the traumatic event.
Yeah.
I always thought therapy was about going back and processing all those emotions.
It's a common thought.
But he says constantly revisiting the trauma
Mm-hmm.
can actually be harmful.
It's like picking at a wound.
No.
It prevents it from healing.
Okay.
The goal isn't to get stuck in the past.
Right.
It's to help the body complete those biological responses.
That got interrupted.
That got interrupted, exactly.
I'm starting to understand. So instead of dwelling on the what and the why of the trauma,
Yeah,
we should focus on helping our bodies process the energy that's stuck there.
that's it.
Okay.
It's about finding ways to discharge that pent-up energy and get back to a state of balance.
Got balance, yeah.
The book gives an example of a woman named Nancy
Okay.
who was struggling with, like, severe panic attacks.
Oh, wow.
What helped her wasn't talking about her past,
Okay.
but having this vivid image of escaping a tiger attack.
That's fascinating. So it wasn't about the literal tiger,
It wasn't.
but about accessing that primal survival energy,
Yes.
allowing her body to move through the freeze response.
You got it.
Wow.
It's like giving the body a chance to do
Yeah.
what it couldn't do during the traumatic event.
To actually finish the process.
Exactly, to release that trapped energy and move towards healing.
This is making me think about trauma on a bigger scale.
Yes.
You know, so far we've been talking about individuals,
Mm-hmm.
but the book also mentions societal trauma.
It does. It's a big piece.
What happens when whole communities carry the wounds of the past?
It's a crucial point. Levine brings it back to the animal world, remember?
You mean like how animals have those rituals
Yeah.
to limit violence
Exactly. They understand
within their own species?
boundaries.
Yeah, it's like they get it on an instinctual level,
Yeah. But humans,
but we don't always follow that blueprint. We don't, even though we have like higher intelligence.
right.
Levine suggests that societal trauma, the like residue of war,
Mm-hmm.
oppression, injustice, all of that,
All of it.
can actually mess up these natural regulating mechanisms.
It can disrupt those instincts.
So instead of those rituals that help contain aggression,
Right.
we end up with like cycles of violence
Cycles of violence, yeah.
passed down through generations.
It's like this collective freeze response where
Yeah.
the energy of trauma gets stuck.
On a societal level.
Exactly.
And that's got to be so hard to break free from.
It's a huge challenge, but the
Yeah.
book doesn't leave us on a hopeless note.
Well, good.
Levine talks about rhythmic movement and bonding experiences,
Okay.
especially between mothers and infants from different groups,
That's interesting.
as a way to start interrupting these cycles.
I'm really intrigued by this idea of using rhythm and connection to heal
It's powerful stuff.
societal trauma. Can you say more about that?
Sure, imagine mothers from different backgrounds.
Coming together, sharing lullabies,
Yeah.
rocking their babies.
Okay.
That simple act can start to rewire those trauma responses.
Oh.
Not just for the babies, but for the mothers too.
It's like creating a felt sense of safety,
It is.
belonging that goes beyond all those differences.
Exactly.
That's such a powerful image, it seems. Like there's so much potential for healing,
There is.
both individually and collectively.
It's there.
If we can tap into those resources,
Absolutely.
this is all so fascinating. I'm starting to see how understanding the science of trauma
Yeah.
can really empower us
They can.
to heal ourselves and create a more peaceful world.
That's the hope.
But I have to admit, it can feel a little overwhelming.
I understand.
Like, where do we even begin?
That's a great question, and one that we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, good.
We're going to look at some specific tools and practices
Oh, perfect.
that Levine outlines in Waking the Tiger
Mm-hmm.
that can help us access our inner healing capacity and begin this journey. Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah,
This has been an incredible start
it has.
to our exploration of trauma and healing.
I agree. It's a journey worth taking,
It is.
both for ourselves and for the world around us.
Absolutely.
Okay, ready for part 2?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
So we've been talking about how trauma gets kind of lodged in the body.
Right, like an echo of the original event.
Yeah, exactly. And how it's not just about these huge events either,
But
right?
anything that just overwhelms our nervous system.
Yeah, like our system's ability to cope.
Oh, exactly.
And one of the keys to healing, according to Levine, is working with this felt sense.
Okay, yeah, remind me.
We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, the felt sense is like that knot in your stomach when you're anxious,
Yeah.
but more than just the emotion, right?
Precisely. It's full body awareness. Like
Yeah.
our body's trying to communicate something, but we've kind of forgotten how to listen.
Right, we're not tuned in.
We're out of touch.
And Waking the Tiger is giving us the tools to relearn that language.
It is. It's pretty amazing.
That's exciting.
It is, but it takes practice.
Yeah.
Like, we're so used to living in our heads,
Overthinking everything.
analyzing.
Yeah.
But the felt sense, it's deeper.
Deeper.
More instinctive, have you ever noticed?
Like gut feeling.
Yeah, like how animals, like even after a scare, they'll shake or tremble.
Like dogs after a thunderstorm.
Yes, exactly.
I always figured they were just, getting the jitters out.
That's part of it.
Okay.
And Levine says it's also them, like literally
Oh,
discharging that excess energy from the freeze response.
So they're completing the cycle.
They're completing it.
Mhm.
Humans have that ability too.
But we don't do it.
We've lost touch with it.
Okay, so instead of shaking it off,
Right.
we end up with that energy stuck,
We do.
causing anxiety, tension, all the things we link to trauma.
Exactly. And this is where some of Levine's techniques come in.
Okay, so what do we do?
They're not about reliving the trauma, but creating a safe environment for the body to, like, finish what it started.
Okay, so I'm picturing like spa music and aromatherapy candles.
Wow.
But I have a feeling it's deeper than that.
It is deeper, although creating that sense of safety is crucial.
Okay.
But Levine draws on things like gentle movement,
Okay.
working with the breath, even visualization.
So not repressing the memories,
Right.
but giving them a different outlet.
It's more about working with the body's natural responses.
Okay, I see.
Like, remember Nancy's example from earlier?
With the tiger.
Her panic attacks weren't solved by talking about her past,
Right,
but by, like, visualizing herself escaping a tiger.
right. And it wasn't about a literal tiger, right?
It wasn't.
It was about tapping into that survival energy
Yeah, the fight or flight.
to complete the freeze response
Exactly. It's like giving the body a chance to do what it couldn't do
in that moment.
in the moment of trauma.
Okay.
And what's fascinating is this can work, even if the original event is hazy or long forgotten.
Because the body remembers, even if our mind doesn't.
It does.
That's amazing and kind of scary.
It's true.
What else is lurking down there?
Our bodies hold a lot of wisdom, it's true,
Yeah.
both positive and painful. But Levine's work isn't about digging up every bad memory.
Okay.
It's about recognizing our innate resilience.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah,
So we've got individual healing, but what about the societal level?
Right.
We touched on that earlier.
we did.
Like how communities can get stuck in these cycles of trauma.
It's heavy stuff, but important.
It is.
Think about it. If one person holding on to trauma can lead to anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
what happens when it's a whole group?
Generations even.
Generations, yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard to see how that turns into conflict, violence.
That's not. It makes sense.
all the things we wish weren't so prevalent.
Right. And Levine connects us back to those animal rituals.
The de-escalation.
Yeah. Animals have ways of de-escalating conflict, reestablishing connection.
Yeah, they figure out.
But humans, often due to trauma,
We lose those skills.
we lose those skills.
It's like we forget how to coexist peacefully
We do.
because we're all carrying these unseen wounds.
It's true. And the solutions Levine proposes for this are fascinating.
Okay, like what do we do?
They're not what you'd expect.
Okay.
Things like rhythmic movement, music, shared rituals.
Wait, so like a drum circle could help heal societal trauma?
I know it sounds kind of woo-woo.
It does, even for me.
Right. But there's actually a lot of research backing this up.
Okay.
Think about it. Music and rhythm,
They're universal.
they're universal. They tap into something primal,
Okay.
beyond language or cultural differences.
I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
Like by syncing up physically, we start to feel connected on a deeper level,
Exactly.
regardless of our backgrounds.
It's about creating that felt sense of safety and belonging,
Yeah.
not just for individuals, but for the group.
For everybody.
And this can be especially powerful for mothers and infants.
Because those early experiences really shape us
They do. They shape our brains,
and how we relate to the world.
how we attach.
Yeah.
Imagine a group of new mothers
Okay.
from all walks of life rocking their babies together, singing lullabies
From their different cultures?
from their different cultures.
Okay, now that's a powerful image.
It is.
Like you're literally rewiring those early trauma responses
Yeah.
through rhythm and connection.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
And not just for the babies, but for the mothers, too.
For everyone involved.
Healing at multiple levels simultaneously.
So what you're saying is these seemingly simple acts of coming together,
Yes.
making music, moving together,
Yeah.
they have the potential to break down those walls of trauma that divide us.
That's the beauty of it.
Wow.
It's not about grand gestures or these complex solutions.
Let's-
It's about rediscovering those basic human needs.
For connection, belonging.
Exactly.
And by meeting those needs, we create this ripple effect
We do.
that can transform individuals, communities, maybe even the world.
It's a hopeful vision.
Yes.
And one that's grounded in both, like ancient wisdom and modern science.
Yeah, I like that.
Levine's work shows us that healing is possible, even from the deepest wounds.
If we're willing to do the work.
If you're willing to tap into the power of the felt sense.
This has been mind-blowing.
It's powerful stuff.
I'm starting to see trauma in a whole new light. Not as something to be feared or avoided,
Yeah.
but as an opportunity for growth.
For growth and
Of
transformation.
transformation, I like that.
That's the spirit, and I think that's a perfect segue
Okay.
into the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We're going to explore some practical takeaways from Waking the Tiger,
Okay,
things you can actually start doing
Yes, give us the tools.
in your own life to work with the felt sense and begin your own journey of healing.
I can't wait. This is already making me feel more empowered, like there's a path forward,
That's what it's all about.
even when trauma feels overwhelming.
Remember, nature is no fool, as Levine says.
Yeah, I love that line.
Our bodies are incredibly resilient.
Yeah.
They hold the keys to unlocking our full potential.
Okay, so we've gone pretty deep into this whole science of trauma thing.
We have, it's a lot to take in.
It is, and the power of that felt sense.
Feeling it in the body.
Yeah, but I think now we're all ready for, like,
Yeah.
what do we do with
The
it?
practical stuff, right?
Yeah, like Waking the Tiger hints at some exercises and techniques.
It does, yeah.
So what can we actually do?
Well, one of the simplest
Okay.
but most profound is something Levine calls pendulation.
Pendulation. Okay, I like the sound of that already.
It's a cool word, right?
It is.
It's based on this idea that healing happens when we can move between states
Yeah.
of expansion and contraction, like a pendulum swinging.
So like between feeling safe and feeling threatened.
Exactly.
Or like energized versus exhausted.
Yeah, or connected and then withdrawn.
Okay, got it.
And the key is to do this gently
Oh,
without forcing it.
not pushing ourselves too hard.
Exactly. So Levine suggests finding resources that help you feel safe.
Cool.
Grounded could be a favorite song,
Oh, yeah.
a comforting image, even just feeling your feet on the ground.
So those become like our anchors.
Yes!
When we start to feel overwhelmed,
Your safe harbor.
we can come back to those.
Exactly. And then you can slowly start to
Okay.
dip your toes into those more challenging sensations.
The echoes of the trauma.
Yeah, but always knowing you can return to that safe space.
Okay, so it's not about like pushing through the discomfort.
Yeah.
It's more like riding the waves.
Riding the waves, that's a great way to put it.
Okay, that feels much more manageable
Yeah.
than just forcing myself to relive something.
It's gentler.
That's scary.
Yeah, it allows the body to process things in a way that feels safe and empowering.
Instead of re-traumatizing. I'm already starting to see how this could apply to like everyday life.
Yeah,
Not just the big T traumas, but all those little moments of stress.
absolutely. Those little triggers.
Yeah, overwhelm that we all have.
All the time. Think about like getting triggered in an argument
Mhm.
or feeling your anxiety spike before a big presentation.
Oh, yeah?
Pendulation can help you regulate those responses
Okay.
instead of getting swept away.
Instead of just like going down the rabbit hole
Right.
of anxiety.
That's it.
This is so helpful. Are there any other techniques from the book that really stand out?
Well, one I find really powerful is
Yeah.
working with the breath.
The breath, okay?
Such a simple tool, right?
Yeah, it's always there.
Always available.
But I think we often underestimate it.
We do. We really do. Levine talks about how trauma can cause us to literally hold our breath.
Oh, wow, I can feel that.
Can you?
Just thinking about it, my chest feels tight.
Yeah. It restricts the flow of energy in the body. So by consciously deepening and slowing down the breath,
We can start to release that.
we can release that tension,
Yeah.
create more space.
So it's not just like breathing deeply.
It's not just about that.
It's about being aware of,
Your breath patterns.
yeah, how they reflect what's going on inside.
How we're actually feeling.
Exactly. And by shifting those patterns,
We can shift our state of being.
we can.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It's powerful.
I'm seeing a theme here.
What's that?
It's not about, like, fighting the trauma.
No.
It's about working with our body
Working with it.
to heal.
Collaborating.
Yeah, and our body's natural intelligence to create the conditions for healing.
You've got it. That's exactly it.
Okay, good.
And that's what I find so empowering about Levine's approach.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being a victim of our past.
Right? Yeah.
It's about becoming an active participant in our healing.
Okay, I like that.
It's a shift.
It is. It's like we've been given this whole new toolbox
That's
for
right.
understanding ourselves. Yeah.
And navigating all the challenges of life.
And the best part is these tools are accessible to everybody.
We don't have to be therapists
Nope.
to use them.
We can all start tapping into this.
That's what I love about Waking the Tiger.
Yeah.
It's not about complicated theories or jargon.
Right.
It's about recognizing the wisdom that we already have in our bodies
It's there.
and learning to work with it.
Exactly.
And that's a journey
It is.
that takes time and patience.
It does.
There's no quick fix.
No quick fixes.
It's about developing a relationship with ourselves, with that inner tiger
Yes.
that holds both our wounds and our strengths.
It's all in there.
I love how the book ends with that line, nature is no fool.
Yeah.
It really struck me. It's like a reminder that there's an intelligence at work here,
There is.
a deeper knowing that we can trust.
It's a beautiful sentiment.
It is.
And it speaks to the interconnectedness of everything.
We're not separate from nature.
We're a part of it.
We are.
And just like nature finds ways to heal and regenerate,
We can too.
we can too.
This has been such a profound conversation, I feel like.
It has.
I've gained a whole new understanding of trauma,
Good.
not as something to be feared,
Mhm.
but as an opportunity
An opportunity, yeah.
for growth and transformation.
I love that.
I hope it sparks some
I
curiosity
do.
in our listener
Yeah.
to explore this further, because Waking the Tiger is just the beginning.
It's a starting point.
There's a whole world of resources and practices out there
There are.
waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, keep going.
So remember, healing is a journey,
It is.
not a destination. Be patient with yourself.
Be patient.
Listen to your body and trust
Trust that inner wisdom.
in your capacity to heal.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Into the world of trauma and healing.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, take care and keep exploring.